So good morning YouTube, and hello Uncle Tim. I'm on the road to Kentucky this morning, and we're on the old girl. She's a lovely girl. And spring is in the air. You can just feel it. It's still cool, but it's you know, it's not as cold as it was, that's for sure. And you look over here, you can see some newborn or new lambs over there. They're not newborn, but close enough. New season lambs. And it's a beautiful day on the New England, of course. You can just see some of the green starting to come through. And it's about 12 degrees, I'd say. So what we're going to do is we're going to ride through Kentucky and Wollun to Walcha Rd. We might have a quick look at Walcha Rd, and then we'll go to Walcha, and then we'll go home again. Look at those, some clouds are beginning to gather. That's a surprise. I haven't even polished the bike. Normally, you know, it doesn't rain until I've got the bike cleaned right up. Hopefully we'll get the sound of the bike better. That'll be right. Even on a quiet country road I can get stuck behind a truck. That's just a cocky going somewhere. That's alright. We're not in a hurry. Now it's a bit of a rough road between here and Wollun, So we'd just take it very easily and probably end up having to cut most of it out anyway. Kentucky. That's Kentucky General Store up here. And you can buy beer there too, should you get thirsty. This place here, it's been for sale for about, I don't know, 3 years or something. So I can only imagine they want too much for it. So a lot of bumps, a lot of ripples on this bit of road here, so we'll just, you know, probably cut most of it out. Walker. Jeez, it's worse than usual. Well, the road is as bad as it's ever been, I think, just about. Here we are in downtown Wollun, which I've been through and pointed out a number of times in the past. This place is starting to really fall apart now. That's a shame. This is the main railway line from, you know, Maitland up through Tamworth, Armidale to the border. It only goes as far as Armidale, as I have also recently pointed out. There's a railway sign and there's no siding. Go to Walcha Rd. So we're coming in towards Walcha Rd now. You know, and this bike is very pleasant to ride. It's probably the most pleasant to ride at legal speeds, which is sort of unusual for motorcycles. Most bikes don't feel great till you know, going fast. Whereas this old girl, you know, it just likes to mosey along. I mean, it'll go a lot harder. My brother used to ride it a lot harder than I'm riding it, as a solo bike, you know. But it's you know, it just feels nice as you ride along like this nice little backcountry road. You know, the sidecar, of course, changes things entirely, you know, but as far as how fast you want to ride it, you know. And the Rocket 3 has got, you know, probably at least twice as many horsepower as this bike. But this is very fun, you know, it's fun to ride in its own way. It's its own thing. This is Walcha Rd now. That railway carriage was a restaurant. And the pub there is a good pub. It's worth a visit. Should come here more often and actually go to the pub, you know. I think we'll go up here to the railway station. Have to be careful where you turn the old girl around because it doesn't have huge ground clearance. Yeah, this, you know, this is just a very pleasurable bike to ride. You know, just still looking for the ignition switch up there, like it is on the Triumph and the BMW and stuff. Anyway, you know, as said, hasn't got a lot of well, the thing about this, just to talk about it a little bit more again, you know, it's a 1988. It was a bit cold still. It's a 1988 Heritage Softail with this DJF sidecar that we've thrown onto it. And my brother, who left me a while ago and left us all, shouldn't just say me, gave me this before he went, you know, and it's a beautiful thing, this old girl. It's got, like, it's an old 80 cubes, 1340cc Evo motor, and as you can see, it's got the Heritage, you know, stuff on the front there, the wide glide front end and stuff, and the twin driving lights and whatnot. It's got this S&S Super G carb on it. It's got stage 2 cams, things like that, you know, so it actually pulls along pretty well, and will pull a lot harder than I ride. I just sort of, you know, go along and trot along, and it vibrates quite a bit, but that's normal. You know, it's just an old bike. This bike actually feels like it could be anything from 1988 to 1948, you know. There's that very nice Evo motor. They're not very fast, but they're a good motor, you know, good reliable motor. Screaming Eagle pipes, drilled discs. I'm running that that hipster tyre on the back there, which works well. It's good. Now this is Walcha Rd, and it's kind of like a junction stop, I guess, or a siding, an extra siding, maybe where they, put carriages on, took them off, whatever. I might go up there actually in a minute and have a look. This must have been for loading back in the day, goods and whatnot. There's a handily placed crate so we can look over the fence. Now I used to put see there's a couple of lines there. I used to put my mother on the train from Armidale down to Maitland a couple of times a year, where she'd go and visit her sister, Auntie Marge, and they're both long gone now. But she would always talk about the trip home from Maitland up this track towards home. I'd go and pick her up from Armidale and take her home to Gaia, of course. But coming through Walcha Rd, she used to say there was always a lot of kangaroos that you could see from the train around here, So that's one of her memories of the trip, and she enjoyed the trip. Got decent food on the train, all that kind of stuff. And of course, Mum was actually kind of like an Armidale person, and that's where she met my father, and they got married in Armidale. When she was a telephonist and he was a teacher, and I think he was home from the Second World War. He was in the Air Force in the Second World War, then the RAF, and they weren't suited, shall we put it that way. Oh, that bike, what a lovely thing. And there's a lovely bit of machinery, isn't it? Yeah, still got the bloody cable and hook on it still. I can't imagine what they'd be using it now. I mean, it couldn't be. Anyway, it's a nice bit of gear, and this is a nice spot. And I said this is only a single track that goes all the way through to Wollongara, but I'm guessing that they've got a couple of sidings here. They must have used this as a loading and siding, and because there's a larger station back at Walcha, but this seems to be some kind of junction. Anyway, what I should do is probably stop talking about stuff that I don't really know. I'm just making some assumptions and some guesses and stuff. The Harley Davidson Heritage Softail Evo is a very pleasant bike. Now I've got the Triumph up at the local shop at the moment, where there's a new guy in town reckons he can have a look at it and sort out the electrics for me. So that'll be interesting. We'll get that back and ride it. As I said, I took it for a ride the other day, and it's got immense power compared to this, for example, and it just pulls so hard when you're not even trying. But one of the good things about it is that it's incredibly docile to ride. It only just goes as fast as you want it to go. Like, it's not, some bikes are really cammy. You've got to get them on the cam to get them to do things, and the Rocket 3 just pulls all the way through, which this does pretty much too, actually. Very torquey motor, of course, the V-twin. Anyway, I'm going to just shut up now.